Think about the best leader you've ever had. Not the most accomplished, not the smartest, not even the one with the most impressive title. The one who made you excited to come to work. The one who believed in you before you fully believed in yourself. The one who noticed your strengths, who celebrated your progress, who made challenges feel possible instead of overwhelming. Now ask yourself this. What made that leader so memorable? Was it their expertise, or was it the way you felt in their presence? I think we've underestimated something incredibly powerful, the emotional climate leaders create. Because long after people forget the meeting agenda, they remember how their leader made them feel. If you're a leader or aspire to be one, this conversation is for you. Welcome back to Office Optimism with me, Sharella. This is a space for leaders, high performers, and ambitious professionals who want to create healthier workplaces, stronger teams, and more meaningful careers with clarity, intention, and grounded optimism. This week, I found myself reflecting on something that often gets overlooked in conversations about leadership. We spend so much time talking about strategy, communication, accountability, performance, and change management. All of those things matter, but I don't think we talk nearly enough about something equally important: joy. Not happiness, not pretending that everything is perfect, not ignoring difficult conversations. I'm talking about the intentional decision to create an environment where people feel encouraged, valued, and inspired to bring their best. Because I believe that joy isn't just a personality trait, it's a leadership strategy. And when leaders understand that, everything changes. Now, before you think this episode is simply about smiling more, let's define what I actually mean by joy. Joy is more than happiness. Joy isn't the absence of challenges. Joy exists alongside them. A joyful workplace isn't one where nothing ever goes wrong. It's one where people believe they can navigate challenges together. Joy says, we can solve this. We'll figure it out. You don't have to carry this alone. And I believe in this team. That kind of leadership changes how people experience work because joy isn't created by circumstances. It's cultivated through relationships. Research supports this idea. Psychologist Barbara Fredrickson, Broaden and Build Theory, found that positive emotions broaden our thinking, increase creativity, strengthen problem-solving abilities, and help build lasting psychological resources over time. In other words, when people experience encouragement, appreciation, hope, and joy, they don't simply feel better. They actually think better. They collaborate more effectively. They become more resilient, and they perform at a higher level. Think about that. Joy isn't separate from performance. It helps make performance possible, which brings us to something that I've been thinking about all week. Why do two people working in the same organization sometimes have completely different experiences? Often, the answer is leadership. Leaders shape the emotional climate. This week reminded me just how grateful I am for my own leadership team. Like every workplace, we have deadlines, competing priorities, unexpected challenges, changing expectations. Those things didn't magically disappear. But what makes the difference is how we move through them together. I feel trusted, I feel supported, I feel psychologically safe. I know that I can ask questions, I know that I can contribute ideas, I know that I can even continue learning. And that doesn't just make work more enjoyable, it makes me want to do my best work. And that's when something clicked for me. People don't experience an organization primarily through policies. They experience it through people, through conversations, through daily interactions, through the leader who greets them each morning, through the supervisor who responds when mistakes happen, through the teammate who celebrates a small win. That's workplace culture, one interaction at a time. Research from Gallup consistently shows that managers account for a significant portion of the variance in employee engagement. Why? Because direct leaders influence whether people feel seen, whether they feel valued, whether they feel connected to the mission, whether they want to stay. Leadership isn't about directing work. It's about shaping the experience of work. And perhaps nowhere is that more evident than in psychological safety. Joy creates psychological safety. We've talked about psychological safety on Office Optimism. Usually, we define it as feeling safe to speak up, ask questions, share ideas, admit mistakes, and all of that is true. But today, I want to take it one step further. Psychological safety grows in environments where encouragement outweighs fear, where curiosity is welcomed, where learning is celebrated, where people know that they won't be defined by one mistake. Joy plays an important role in creating that environment. Not because joyful leaders avoid accountability, quite the opposite. They create enough trust that accountability becomes easier to receive. Because people know correction is coming from someone who believes in them, not someone looking to tear them down. And that's the difference. Joy doesn't lower standards, it raises trust. And trust allows people to grow, which leads me to one of the biggest leadership lessons that I've learned. It wasn't from a book, and it wasn't from a conference. It came from simply paying attention to the leaders who helped me become a better version of myself. And that's where I realized something I don't think I'll ever forget. People rarely rise above the emotional climate that their leaders consistently create. We'll unpack that and explore how every one of us can become a leader who leaves people better than we found them next. In the first half of this conversation, we explored how leaders shape more than performance. They shape experience, they shape trust, they shape culture, and ultimately, they shape the emotional climate that people work within every single day. That realization has stayed with me because once you begin to notice it, you can't unsee it. The leaders who leave a mark. When I think about the leaders who have had the greatest impact on my life, I don't immediately think about the projects that we completed, or the awards that we received, or even the goals that we accomplished. I remember how they made me feel. I remember feeling trusted, encouraged, respected, safe enough to ask questions, safe enough to grow, safe enough to admit when I didn't know something. Those leaders didn't remove every challenge. They didn't eliminate every difficult conversation. They simply created an environment where challenges felt manageable because I knew I wasn't facing them alone. And for that, I'll always be grateful. This week reminded me just how fortunate I am to work alongside leaders and teammates who create that kind of environment. It's not perfect. No workplace is. We still have deadlines, unexpected changes, competing priorities, moments that stretch us. But I also know that my ideas are welcome, my contributions matter, my growth is supported. And because of that, I don't just come to work, I come ready to contribute. That's the power of culture, not because someone wrote it into a mission statement, because someone chose to live it. And that's when I realized something that has completely changed the way that I think about leadership. The climate you create matters. Leadership is often described through responsibilities, setting expectations, managing decisions, managing performance, communicating vision, and those things absolutely matter. But I think leadership is also something much more personal. It's emotional. Every interaction either adds to the emotional climate or subtracts from it. Every meeting, every email, every coaching conversation, every thank you, every correction, and even every celebration or response to a mistake. Over time, those moments become culture. And here's the thought that has stayed with me. People rarely rise above the emotional climate that their leaders consistently create. If fear is the climate, people protect themselves. If criticism is the climate, people stop taking healthy risks. If indifference is the climate, people disengage. But when encouragement is the climate, people contribute. When trust is the climate, people collaborate. When joy is the climate, people flourish. Joy isn't about pretending every day is easy. It's about reminding people that even on hard days, there is still purpose, there is still possibility, there is still value in what we're building together. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to be the CEO to influence culture. Leadership is an everyday choice. Sometimes we underestimate our influence because we underestimate the power of ordinary moments. A sincere thank you, recognizing someone's effort, welcoming a new teammate, checking in on someone who's unusually quiet, celebrating progress instead of only pointing out what's left to do, or even believing in someone's potential before they see themselves. These aren't small things. They're leadership. Research consistently shows that employees who feel recognized, supported, and connected are more engaged, more innovative, and more likely to remain committed to their work. Studies from Gallup have also found that meaningful recognition is strongly connected to employee engagement, well-being, and performance. The reason why is because recognition tells people, I see you, you matter, your work has purpose. And when people believe those things, they bring more of themselves to their work, not because they have to, but because they want to. That's the kind of workplace that I want to help to create. One conversation, one team, one leader, one act of encouragement at a time. And here's your joyful point. This week, ask yourself, what emotional climate am I helping to create? Do people leave conversations with you feeling heavier or more hopeful, more discouraged or more capable? Then choose one intentional act of encouragement this week. Offer genuine recognition, express gratitude, celebrate someone's progress, remind someone that their contribution matters. Because leadership isn't only measured by what you accomplish, it's also measured by what grows in the people around you. Let that steady you. We've now made it to the Office Optimism focal point. If this conversation resonated with you, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who leads others or someone who has positively shaped your life. Better yet, send them a note. Tell them the difference that they made. The leaders who create healthy workplaces don't always hear the impact that they're having. So let's change that. Workplace culture isn't created overnight. It's built one interaction at a time, one conversation at a time, one decision at a time, and one leader at a time. So wherever you lead, whether it's a team, a project, a classroom, a meeting, a family, or simply the people around you, choose to create an emotional climate where others can thrive. Because joy isn't a distraction from great leadership. It may be one of its greatest advantages. Keep encouraging, keep believing in people, keep creating workplaces where others can flourish. And as always, keep shining. Bye-bye.